All right, guys, I've made a grave mistake. Okay, as we all know, my meat is big, yes. However, it's come to my attention recently that I've been underselling it my entire life. And I'm actually so mad because I'm like, how many hookups did I fumble because I wasn't willing to insinuate that my meat is big, right? Because like there are times like, you're about to link up with someone, you don't want to oversell yourself by any means. So you're like, yeah, my worst line by far of all time, and this definitely cost me on many occasions. I used to say, it's not scary, but it's there. Remember this one girl, like she responded, she was like, I sure hope it's there. And I was like, damn, like that's how I knew I folded. But anyways, as you know, I've had that video where I'm probably gonna link it in the description where that girl ghosted me because it was too big. And I was like, I didn't really believe her. Because in my mind, I'm like, there's no way it's that big. But also, mind you, I hadn't really measured it, especially as an adult, you know what I'm saying? Like for one, I was like, that's kind of corny, but also I never had access to anything to measure it with, you know what I mean? Then since I moved into this place, I had to get a tape measure, okay? Then one thing led to another. But anyways, okay, the reason I actually found out though, it was in field work. There are a couple things that happen. Actually, there's probably three major reasons, but one of them isn't as recent as the others, okay? It's just kind of things coming together. Okay, one of the first reasons is I be breaking hearts, you know what I mean? And that's not me trying to say like I'm cool for it. My heart gets broken all the time and it happens, okay? But people get very mad at me. Love interest, ex-love interest, now that I like to call romantic enemies, aka exes, whatever you want to call it, right? They get mad because I do whatever. We get into like fights like near the end, stuff like that, and they throw the kitchen sink. Okay, like they say horrendous things. They're like, oh, this is why nobody likes you. This is why you don't have any friends. Oh, your videos are so stupid and immature. Oh, I never really liked you. You're never gonna find anyone like me. Oh, like everything I was saying to you was a lie. Which that last one, I never really believe it because it's always in response to me telling them that everything I said was a lie, which, yeah, if you don't know the lore, there was one time where I was on a three-way phone call and it was two women yelling at me. I'm trying to remember everything they said. Like one time they're like, oh, like how could your mom raise you like this? Oh, I thought you had sisters. They're like, oh, you're a failure. Your content's not going to go anywhere. Anyways, you get my point, okay? They're basically saying all the classic, like, spurned ex stuff, like all the insults, whether they believe it or not. I'm sure some they did, some they didn't. Y'all know the breakup rhetoric. Like, the story beats, okay? However, throughout all that, what they never told me, I've never been told this as an adult. In high school it happened, but as an adult, never been told my meat was small. And you feel like that's like would be like the first thing they'd go to. Now, mind you, I've always known I wasn't shrimpy, right? But the thing is, you feel like they would still say that anyways. Because things, if they would have told me that at that time, I probably would have believed them. Like to an extent, I would have been like, man, like I'm not slanging the way I thought I was slanging. You know what I mean? It would be that thing, like I said, like, oh man, I guess it's only there. Like I guess it's only serviceable meat, right? Which is fine. Like serviceable, you'd rather be serviceable than not serviceable, but like you want to be slanging. Now I'm just thinking in context because obviously like there are times when like unprovoked, they're like, oh my gosh, like your meat's big. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, one time, this girl, she was like, when did you find out? And I never really know how to answer that question, or at least before I didn't know how to answer that question because I was like, I still don't really know. Because again, I've explained this before. You got to understand, like, proportion to my very large 6'6" body, and also the fact that it's very rare that I'm in the room with other meat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like if I was sleeping with more men, I absolutely would find out a lot sooner in my life. But anyways, again, it is a hint, like, bringing it up outside of the context of like literally sleeping with them that my meat's big. So I'm like, okay, cool, that's sweet. But again, you would still think that like if they threw that in there, they could like throw it back and be like, oh, I was actually just lying the entire time. Even if it wasn't true, like they would still say that, right? And like again, like these women in question, like they've told me to unalive myself on multiple occasions. So I'm like, I don't think they're beyond anything that they feel like is like too low. But the thing about me though is no matter how unsure I was of my meat, which I was like, like I know like I'm up there, but I don't know how up there I am. You know what I mean? Like that was like a general idea that I had. And this is something like I tell you about like having presented confidence because the thing is, you can have like the things I wouldn't consider that an insecurity. It was more so like a lack of knowledge. But if you do have something that is an insecurity, you never want to bring it to somebody as if it is, right? Like I feel like if I would have came to like my women in the past and been like, okay, so is it like big or is it just like big? You know what I mean? Like if I were to come to them with that energy, they would know that it was a bone of contention in my head. And they would have remembered. So like, situation comes across later, they would have known that they at that point would have been able to get into my head about the size of my meat. But when they would ogle over the meat, I'd just be like, haha, thank you, and then move on, So me maneuvering the conversation that way didn't give them any sort of inkling that they could have gotten into my head about it. Because in an objective sense, they know it's huge, right? Like they've seen it, they've seen it compared to other men's, stuff like that. Me, I'm the one where I'm like, I don't know. This is the same meat I've been looking at all my life. I'm not really sure. And of course, there are like those like troll or like, quote unquote troll posts on the internet where some woman's like, oh, I don't know who told y'all 8 inches is big, but it's not big. And it's like, bro, like, Like what more can I give you without giving myself like heart issues? But anyways, my point is when me and them got into those arguments near the end, right? And they want to insult me, they want to try to hurt my feelings. The reason the meat thing never came up is because in their minds they knew that I would know that they were lying. Like now, mind you, in that time period, I would have been like, like they're probably lying, but it would have been in my head a little bit. Like I would have questioned. I would be like, like what am I really working with? But like for them, like it wasn't even a debatable thing. Which again, like that's why thank God, like if you have something where you're like kind of like on edge about it, never disclose that to somebody, bro. Like find out on your own. And one thing that I hate that people say, like that I feel like really gets in people's heads is you would know. Because I feel like that's not necessarily true. Because here's the thing, I can have every woman I've ever been involved with tell me it's big, and they would probably tell me that anyways. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, you're sleeping with someone, you're gonna tell them what they want to hear, regardless. You know what I mean? Like if I'm sleeping with a woman, I'm like, oh my gosh, that grip's so crazy. Oh my gosh, your sloppy is so good. Whole time she could be using teeth. Okay, like, but you're just gonna say that because like that's what gets people in the mood. Like you're not gonna criticize their work. Like not because I remember one time I told this girl to like degrade me a little bit. Like what I mean degrade me, I mean like call me names. Like just insult me the human being a little bit. Just every here and there. But then like I forgot she said something because I was like I forgot what position we were in, but I'm smashing it right, and then basically I had to reposition myself because I think my leg was like cramping or something, and then she's like, "What? You can't handle it?" I was like, never say that to me again. Complete, bro, like that, it completely almost like softened me up on the spot. But generally, I feel like the average person knows, like, not really to say that to someone, especially someone you're just hooking up with. Like, you're not gonna, for one, you're not gonna degrade them in general, but also you're not gonna say something like that. And I feel like some people mean it like, oh, like, you should know just by talking about the eye test, like, oh, you should look at your meat and be able to tell. Again, not necessarily. Because again, if you're proportioned differently, I'm a big guy, got big hands, big legs, long limbs, you know what I mean? Like, things kind of just, it blends in, like it blends in with my body. So in my head, I'm like, easily this could just be normal. But the thing is, I'm not. I'm 6'6". I'm not built like a normal guy. My official measurement was 6'7" though. Haha, get it? But yeah. And again, I know people think I sleep with men like all the time, but like, I know people think like I sleep with men like very consistently. But my thing is, most of the time, I'll tell you right now, my meat is the only meat in the room. And the thing is, even in those instances, I've never seen myself visually dwarfed, but like that doesn't really affect the perception of myself. You know what I mean? Again, until I start putting all the puzzle pieces together. Like I'm probably gonna get to the story later, but this young lady sent me a meat pic, right? And I was looking at it, I was like, okay, I can tell that's like large, but I can also tell that mine's bigger. You know what I mean? But again, that perception is hard to have, and it's hard to have that perception actually influence what you're seeing on yourself. And the things you can say the same thing about people being attractive, because people say the same thing about attractive people. Like, oh, if you're attractive, you would know. That's not necessarily the case. Because for one, there's a lot of people who are unattractive going around, living, I guess, lives that they would deem to be attractive. Like we all know, and this is not me like targeting women, but we all know there are some women that like, get approached by a few guys and they think like, they're top 10 prettiest women in their city, when in reality, that's just the reality of being a woman and getting approached. Or a man who's like tricking and he thinks women think he's handsome because he's, taking them on first dates or whatever. But also like even me, bro, like y'all know I'm very confident in my looks. When I was first like getting handsome and like I was in a lot of like different like relationships and different situationships, I still wasn't I was like, am I really like a handsome guy? Like it took so much reinforcement for me to be like 100% sure, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm so confident in it now. So when people are like, oh, like you should just know these things, like, I feel like that's a cop out. Because now mind you, I'm sure some people do, they can just know. They can look in the mirror and they can just know, right? But truly for everybody, it's not that simple, especially when you look at, the way society is conditioned, like in the media and stuff like that. Like again, if you want to talk about attractiveness, look at, what's deemed as an attractive like celebrity. You know what I mean? Like you have people out here saying that like Zendaya is an unattractive woman. So then like there are probably women out there who are like less attractive than Zendaya, but then they're like, oh my gosh, so I must be chopped if people are saying Zendaya's chopped. You know what I'm saying? Like you see how like when you look at the media, everything's kind of like, it kind of downgrades everything else. It can have that effect on people. And just like, oh my gosh, thought I paused. And just like I mentioned in the She Ghosted Me Because It Was Too Big video, it's like if you're like growing up, especially like you're an adolescent young man and you're looking at these meets in these adult film videos, they look crazy. Especially if you're a young man and you don't have any experience in the bedroom, and you're unable to really process the fact that they use camera tricks, they use, small women for, particular actors, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it's very easy to be put in a spot where you don't really have a good general idea. Which reminds me though, and this is another moment where like it should have just clicked for me. I involved myself with adult stars on occasion, right? And there was one in particular where I watched her when I was like a child, which it sounds weird. Basically, like literally like middle school, early high school, I was watching her stuff. And then we met and then I clapped, which, whew, hey, when I tell you like, Look, I am no longer like a certified gooner, but like there's just that like little gooner within me that's just like, just give myself a high five. But then it's like, when we're engaging in acts, when we're doing our thing, I'm like, oh, wait. Like, actually, like, because, then you can like keep in your mind. I'm like, okay, like, what have I seen her handle before? I'm like, oh, like, it's like clicking. And that reminds me of another thing. I'm not going to lie. Also, the difference between you by yourself and you with another individual. Okay. And I don't know if this is a very common thing, but personally, I feel like, and this is why I don't really goon that much. Oops, sorry, hit my mic. I feel like my meat when I'm like having relations, or I'm like getting sloppy, just like someone else is like handling it in general. I feel like it's genuinely bigger. Like I feel like I'm having like a fuller bricked up moment when I'm, in that situation. And it's not like a crazy difference, but like it's a noticeable difference, right? And I think that's got to be a very real thing, probably because it just goes with your level of excitement in that moment. But again, in that moment, of course, you're not like, oh my gosh, like let's stop, let's measure it, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like you kind of just live in the moment. Yeah, and also something else I want to touch on with the like, oh, like you should know thing. A lot of people, it's like when people ask me like, oh, like what does it feel like to be tall? Like, bro, this just has been my life, like ever since I was born. You know what I mean? It's like obviously I know I'm tall because I visually see that I'm taller than everyone else. Like I'm saying, like I have the confirmation of like seeing everyone else's height. But the thing is, if I'm like just like in the crib for a bit or just like going about my life, like I don't feel tall on day to day. When I look in the mirror, I'm like, this is what it is. And like I'm thinking about this because I remember when I'm like having relations, bro, like especially earlier on, like I would never go all the way. Like I would never like, get to the end, if you get what I'm saying. Because for one, I'm just a gentle guy, to be completely real. And that's something I've had to work on in my lovemaking tactics. Like genuinely, like, and people who've seen me cook, and it's gonna sound completely unrelated, but people who've seen me cook know this because like if I'm like mixing something, like I'm mixing it like, oh, I wish I was cooking right now so I could show you. But like I've seen people be like, you know what I mean? Like they're really getting in there. Like me, no. Oh yeah, and mixing is not a euphemism. I'm literally talking about food right now. Or like I'm stirring something. Like I'm very like tender with the way I touch it. So, if I'm going to town, I wasn't like eager to, you know what I mean? Like, like pelvis to pelvis, really getting in there. That wasn't something I was doing because I was just like, I didn't want to feel like I was like hurting a person. I didn't even think I paused there. I just did not press the pause button. I'm getting at, like, I would kind of like stop before I got to that point because, I'm just a tender guy. Like I never want to like hurt anything. And that's how I've been, oh my gosh, someone just followed. Hey, yeah, by the way, follow me on Twitch. Yeah, and get involved with the Twitch, bro. That's gonna be in the description. I talk about my meat sometimes over there too. But you know what I mean? Like I literally had to have like this young lady coach me up into being more aggressive in that area, right? But then even sometimes after, like, when you can't just go in anymore. Like there's no runway left. I've been in that situation too, and you would think that like it clicked. You know what I mean? Like you would think that it clicked. It did not like it crossed my mind, but I was like, I don't know. Because also, and a big part of it is like you never want to be the guy who thinks they have big meat, but they don't really. As big as I know my meat is, I'm still not gonna be the guy where I'm like, hey, like I'm Mr. Big Meat, and I'm just gonna like throw it at like love interest or like throw it at someone I'm trying to hook up with. Because again, you don't want to like I don't want them expecting like a 10-incher, you know what I mean? Like, because then I would just be like, what would I be doing there? You know what I mean? But I can move with more confidence in like my general speed. But my point is, I feel like part of the reason why, because I know I'm definitely not the first person or only person to underestimate their meat. I feel like not wanting to be that guy is also a big part of like why people are so like skeptical of there. Because when I made that video and I like mentioned, I was like, oh yeah, like I was always like skeptical, like when people would say like it was huge, like da, da, da. Like people were like, oh yeah, like me too. Like I always get like the comments, but like I never really know. I feel like people they don't want to be that guy. Let's think about it, in general, you would much rather think your meat was like smaller than it was and like pleasantly surprise people or pleasantly surprise yourself than to think it's bigger than what it is and then disappoint. But anyways, let me get into another my meat being big story. Okay, so basically me and this young lady, we matched on dating app and we were talking about linking up, it came up. We're like, okay, yeah, we should link, you're attractive, I'm attractive. But she kind of felt guilty for it because she was like, oh, like you don't seem like you're into that. Like because the thing is, bro, you gotta understand when I link up with you on a dating app or like when we match or whatever, we start talking, I'm talking to you like a human being. Okay. Like even if it's clear that we're going to hook up or it's clear that that's what like we're looking for, I'm talking to you like a human being. Okay. A lot of people aren't used to that. But the thing is, that's a double-edged sword because like I talk to them like a human being. They think sometimes that means that I'm not interested in having relations. And it's like, no, like I'm definitely interested. It's just I'm also going to make sure I'm respectful towards you, because you still are a human being, even if you're a little dirty whore. were. I'm joking. They're not little dirty whores. They are just human beings though. But also it's like, yes, it's a method, like to treat them like a human being method. But at the same time, I kind of need like a solid conversation with you. Like, okay, me and you were like connecting on a human level before I have relations. Like I can't do just like pure hookups. It's I don't know, it's a problem. It's probably my biggest Achilles heel as a roster manager. Because like sometimes, bro, there's someone where you're like, they're bad. All they want is to have relations. All you want is to have relations, but you just can't. Like I can't force it, bro. Like I need that little conversation. Like, you know, people who can like hook up and not kiss, couldn't be me. Give me them lips. But basically, me and Shorty going back and forth. She's like, oh, I don't know. You don't seem like you're like that. And I'm like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Like just playing a little game. But then eventually I'm like, no, I'm very interested in that. Like we should probably do that. Like, and mind you, that's exactly how I talk. I'll tell you, like in conversation, I speak very proper. So I'm like, yeah, like, no, I'd be interested in that very much. You know, like I'm into that for sure. You know what I mean? Like I'm not big, like freak talker. Like I gotta talk like normal. You know, I don't have like the dirty talking accent in me, but you know, she's like, okay, bet, let's link up, right? And then she's like, oh, like should we like trade images? And I'm like, personally, I don't send because I really don't. There's a lot of stuff like I don't know. I feel like people have to worry about. I know this one dude. He sent someone, oh my gosh, unclothed images, and they got sent to his parents. Which, ugh. And especially now, me being a creator, bro. Like, come on, I don't want BRS leaked. It's just bad for the image. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it would be hard for you to watch my content knowing that you've seen my meat. You know, and also it's just an invasion of privacy. You know, like I wanna know who I reveal the meat to. Like, I don't want it to just be like a societal thing. And plus, dude, imagine hooking up after that. Like everyone's seen the meat. Like I'm used to like the, you know, like when it gets taken out or like when they like grab it or whatever. But you know, then like they just know already. Like it would take the fun out of it. Anyways, though, told her I did, and this is gonna be important for another story later. So, anyways, I told her like I didn't send, and then she was like, but like she basically, I forgot how she said it, but she phrased it like she was afraid of it being small or something like that, or at least it not being big or whatever. Oh yeah, she said something like she was like, I need my man to have a big meat, you know, and then she said, not sure if that's the case for you, but but the height makes up for it. And I said, you don't have to worry. I said, LMAO, you don't have to worry. And then she said, depends. Everyone got a definition of big, but good. I believe you, maybe. And the thing is, again, like, how do I respond to this? You know, I don't want to be like, hey, like, because for one, if I'm like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, you know, it's huge. Not only am I a douchebag, but also I'm kind of putting myself in a position where I have to send a picture, right? But again, I don't want to hit something like I used to hit in my youth when I'd be like, it's not scary, but it's there. Dude, I told that to one of the baddest women I've ever met in my entire life. Never hit. I wonder why. Oh my God. Okay, anyways, I said, to my knowledge, I have a pretty good track record. And then she said, as long as it's thick, and I said, I've heard it is. And then her response was, I don't care, you're tall. And I'm not giving you like the full text messages, but the context is basically like, oh, like, I feel like she wasn't picking up what I was laying out. Like she didn't buy it. Like she was like, oh, like whatever, meat doesn't matter because like you're tall. And it's like, okay. But, and again, people talk to me about tall privilege all the time. There you go. Fine. I understand. There's some tall privilege there. But something I wish more people thought of, people like this thought of, it's like, don't you think the carpet matches the drapes? Like obviously height to meat ratio isn't like an exact science, but I feel like I would assume someone who's larger has like bigger meat. Like, obviously it's fine. I'm living my life and you're gonna hear how like the story ends or whatever, but like, bro, come on. And my thing is, I don't know. I feel like on the internet, I carry myself with like the gusto of someone who has big meat. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you have to have, if you have a certain type of personality, bro, you got to back it up with some meat. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's a lot of people where they have that silent confidence because they know what's in their pants, truly. Like, and that's what BDE, you know, Big D energy was originally, but then people kind of just made it something else. But yeah, anyway, she was like, oh, I don't care, you're tall. We talked for a little bit. And then, you know, we decided to link up. Okay, I'm heading her over to her place, you know, doing out calls. And she wanted to get right into it. Okay, I could tell, but I couldn't do it. So like I said, I had to have a little conversation first, which ended up working out well because, you know, that's how you like actually solidify a member, you know, rather than, you know, just going right into it. And then like, yes, it hinges on your performance. So if you perform well, you're likely to do fine, but it's like you want there to be some emotional stakes in there as well. But basically, you know, things start to get a little freaky, right? And then I get a little excited, you know. Oh my gosh, this is an important thing for the story. I forgot to tell you. Okay, basically, she sent me images though. And in one of them, she had like a toy that was like like unrealistically massive. And I'm like, bro, if she's playing with that, bro, like what, what am I supposed to do? But again, it's like, you know, it's a toy compared to like real meat. Like I was still confident going into the situation by all means, but like I was just like, man, like what? I guess that's what she be messing with. But anyways, freakiness starts, get excited, and you know, she grabs the area, you know, and she's like, Like she's startled a bit, you know. And she's like, oh, like are you breaked up? And I was like, like slightly, like a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, because it was like you know when you're there, but you're not all the way there. But then I don't want to get too graphic for you. One thing leads to another, and like you know, it's out. And she's like, oh my gosh, you weren't lying. And I'm like, I know, you know. And then she started going to town, and then I was looking at, it, I was like, bro, it is big. And I think the thing that really made it click for me is she was a taller woman as well. So I was like, oh. So, no, you know, we got down dirty. We did our thing. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like this is great. Love this. But then, like, I was just so curious. I was like, So I was kind of thinking about my meat, like, a lot from that moment on. But then I don't remember if it was, yeah, it was either the next night after, something like that. I matched this other young lady on dating app, right? And then it was a similar situation where, but the thing is, the conversation wasn't really solid, right? And I talked about this on TikTok a little bit, so you might remember it if you follow me there. Like, we had not solidified any sort of plan. Like, the difference between this girl and the first girl I told you about is me and her, like, it was like, okay, like, we should link up, like, tonight. And then it was like, okay, send pictures. And I was like, nah. This was a situation where me and her, we were kind of just, like, talking, like, the concept of linking up. We were like, oh, yeah, sure. But, like, the conversation, it wasn't, like, nothing was a done deal. But it's like, okay, you know, we're complimenting each other, you know, doing the whole thing, like getting to know each other a little bit. And then out of the blue, she sends me unclothed images. And I'm like, fuck, I hate when that happens because now I'm like, the pressure's going to be on me to send images back. I don't send. But the important part of this for this story, right? And I'm still going to finish the story. But the important part of this for this story is she was meted up. Like I referenced that earlier, right? Like she was meted up and I could tell. But then at the same time, I could also tell that mine was bigger. So that made me really curious, you know? And you know, the thing about it is, it was funny. My ex, she would always tell me that my meat was like this length, right? And she's like, oh, like it's about this. And I'd be like, I was like, I don't know. You know, like I was like, I'm not sure if I'm all the way there. But she insisted. She was like, yes, like absolutely, it is, unequivocally. Because I forgot what it was. She had like some object that was of like that particular length. And she was like, yeah, no, this is definitely what it is. But every time we had these conversations, it was always over the phone. Like it was never like in person, like we'd have these discussions. So anyways, I was just like, I would, again, like I was always underselling. I was like, like, I don't know. But she was like, yep, nope, it definitely is. And then, you know, come to find out, she was right, which is great for me. You know, congrats to her for being right. But more so, congrats to me. No, congrats to every woman I sleep with. I'm such a douchebag. But like for real though. Now I'm gonna be completely real with you, bro. I gotta make an amendment to a previous video I made. I previously told you my meat was LeBron. You know what I mean? And as much as I love LeBron as a player still, like he's still going to be my, you know, favorite player all time, even if my meat and him aren't really as locked in as I thought they were. And I'm pretty sure last time specifically I pulled up, I don't know if it was this picture exactly, but I was like, hey, you know, LeBron's a large man, but next to Shaq, you know, he looks like, you know, kind of a more of a normal guy. But knowing what I know now, to be completely honest with you, my meat might be prime Shaq. Hold on, let me get big on you. Meat might be prime Shaq, bro. Diesel. Don't know what to tell you. You know, don't shoot the messenger. Okay, I'm being completely real. Don't shoot the messenger. This is not complete glaze. Because look at this right here. They're still Yao Mings of the meat world. Okay, 100% without a doubt. There are still I wish I could get a picture of them like standing next to each other, but they're like the Victor Wembanyama's of the world, okay? There are bowls and there are minute bowls for God's sakes, bro. Look how large this man is. So it's like, don't get it twisted, bro. This is not a glaze sesh, okay? I'm very realistic. I don't have the biggest meat of all time, okay? But it is bigger than I thought, and in context to like the rest of the world, is bigger than I thought. You know, like even more significantly. But here I had been trying to undersell it like a damn fool. Now I think I have to watch a whole bunch of Shaquille O'Neal highlights, okay? But also here's the thing, Shaq is listed at 7'1". If I were to make my meat a person, I would say maybe more 7 foot. And obviously that's not a direct foot to inch ratio. It's just something about him being 7'1". I'm like, okay, maybe let's cool it a bit. But maybe that's me doing it again. Maybe I can't help but downplay my meat, bro. But I have to stop. Like I have to stop. Bro, you just gotta believe in yourself a bit more. Okay, see, again, I'm looking for like a flat 7 foot. Like I would say, okay, like I'm looking at tall NBA players right now, okay? This is Nikola Jokic, absolutely the fuck not. I'm sorry, my meat is not foreign. Joel Embiid's foreign too. But okay, here's the thing. My meat is not injury prone, knock on wood. Like literally knock on wood, like thank God. Evan Mobley, but he needs some meat on his bones if he wants to be my meat, you know? Kristaps Porzingis, no. Rudy Gobert, no, not. He doesn't have enough of an offensive game for him to be my meat whatsoever. And again, the thing about Shaq is like Shaq was like sturdy too. I feel like Rudy isn't as sturdy. Larry Markkinen, no. Because Zubac, no. It has to be a black person, by the way. Okay, a complete black person. Bobo, like I said, no. Boban, no. Because the thing is, like, I feel like it's egotistical to say Shaq, but like at the same time, it's like what I'm trying to think of better options. Okay, Mitchell Robinson. Let me think. Mitchell Robinson. Again, I really don't think his game matches my meat. But 7 foot, he seems like sturdy enough. Like I see the vision. Taco Fall, absolutely not. Come on, let's not play. JaVale McGee, he's too silly. I don't have silly meat. Okay, my meat's very serious. Mo Bamba, something in my heart's telling me just no. Serge Ibaka. Again, I want more of an offensive game, and that's my problem with some of these 7 footers. I'm finding because even like Mitchell Robinson, it's like I need someone who can really like put points on the board, and like, like does he really have like the post game that I would say my meat has? I don't know. Can he really do it in the paint? James Wiseman, absolutely not. Fuck no. Hassan Whiteside, prime Hassan Whiteside when he had that like he had really good seasons with the Heat, maybe okay, but like I don't know. Nick Richards, bro, he's one of those people that does not look 7 foot. I don't know. Yeah, see, it's hard, bro, because I already like kind of settled on Shaq. It's like very difficult for me to like not go with Shaq. Alex, imagine I was like my meat's Alex Lynn. Hell no. Okay, J Hut, what? I was about to say there's no way he's on the Lakers right now. Moses Brown, Willie Cauley Stein. Isn't he also injury prone? Like I can't have injury prone meat. Like see, it's just not. Look, I'm trying not to go with Shaq, but like Shaq is just like. It's just I feel like on all some like prime Shaq, or maybe give me Shaq like a couple years before. Okay, I gotta see how he looks on the Magic. I'm considering it. Because my main concern is because I need like oh my gosh, y'all can't even see. By the way, I've been looking at pictures of Shaq. See, I'm trying to convince myself. Because again, I feel like saying like Lakers Shaq, like I don't want to sound like I'm just like this egotistical guy. This makes me believe. This makes me believe. It's like because the thing is when Shaq was like Shaq his rookie year, I feel like is too skinny. But I mean, obviously not for the league or anything like that. He was a monster. But like, give me Shaq like this probably is like the year before he went to the Lakers. You know what I mean? Because then when he got to the Lakers, he started getting a little like too wide. Like I definitely got thickness, and it's very important for me to represent that. But there's something more. Like I don't want like the kind of like sloppy wide Shaq. I don't know. Like I don't know if this is like his sloppy era, but something about this, I'm like, it's not really speaking to me. Like you know what I mean? Like give me. Okay, let me look at his stats. Okay, I think that's gonna help me. Okay, basketball reference. Can we go by season, please? Okay. Started off in Orlando. Wait, where are the points? Okay, points right here. 29 points per game. What? Oh, he was second to MVP his third year. Oh my gosh, he's so goated. Wait. Okay, let's see. Oh, but okay, here's the thing. I kind of want MVP defense player. He didn't win defense player of the year. Who won it over him, bro? What is up? Okay, is very difficult. He was only in Orlando for 4 years. I didn't know he was in LA for that long, bro. That's kind of crazy. Okay, points. His points are relatively in the same spot. Like the things I don't need like his all-time highest points. But let me think. Let's look at the boards. 11. Because definitely not rookie Shaq because that's like too like. Gosh, I wish you guys saw my meat so you could help me with this, but I don't know. 13 rebounds, is that too much? I think 13 rebounds might be me overselling it. Okay, give me Shaq. It's going to have to be a range. It's going to have to be a range from like around, how much rebounds did he get this season? He had 13 his second year. Oh my gosh, bro, he's crazy. He's a madman. He's insane. Let's see. A field goal percentage maybe? Okay, give me Shaq his second year. But okay, I don't know. The thing, I just hope he was like, that was when he got like built. Okay, give me Shaq his second year until I want his MVP season. I'm sorry. I want to claim my meat as his MVP season, as at least one of them. Okay, but nah. The thing, genuinely though, I need first team All NBA seasons. So if I had to pick, it would probably like 2002, and I'm going backwards here, to like 1997. But then I want some Orlando years in here, you know? Like, why is this so difficult, bro? But like, the thing is, who else? Because the thing is, yes, I want someone who's like built like my meat, but also the production of my meat, you know? Like, should I ask my ex, like, to be completely honest, or is there something I'm missing? Because here's the thing. Here's someone else who I thought of. I did think of Giannis, okay? Because and now me and Giannis both light skin. But the thing is, again, he's Greek. I don't know if I have Greek meat down there. Oh, he's Nigerian. He's Nigerian though. Okay, let's cook. Okay, I gotta look at his stats now. He's 6'11" though. Give him one more inch. Give him a full 7 foot, and now we're talking. Okay, but again, like, because I feel like I really agree with like the concept of, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I like he's muscular. You know, I feel like I have muscular meat. Like Shaq, I feel like it kind of gives like fat meat a little. That's why I wanted to go to Orlando. But at the same time, I'm like, bro, is my meat's like a little bigger than Giannis, I feel like, bro. Like if he was just like a little bit like all around, just a bit bigger. Okay, now actually, if we factor in today's day and age, like the day and age of like small ball and everything, much smaller people like playing center and everything. Yeah, I feel like, if we make that adjustment, but if we're talking about historically where people like Shaq exist, oh my gosh, can you not have I not been showing you Giannis this entire time? I'm gonna be so mad. I'm so sorry. I've not been showing you Giannis, but I'm not gonna re-record. But you know what I mean, bro? Like Giannis, he's got muscle on him, bro. Like that's what I need. But like, I just don't know. But okay, yeah, like I said, in the day and age of small ball, perhaps because there's kind of been like I don't know what the opposite of inflation is when it comes to heights. Like a height deflation, right? So it's like him being 6'11" is perceived as a lot taller than like, again, like Shaq was like 7'2" in the 7'1" in the 90s or whatever. But again, bro, just give me a little more muscle, Giannis. Okay, now let's look at the stats. Okay, let's see if he can give me a season. They have projections. It's kind of crazy. Okay, give me. He won MVP 2 years in a row. Yeah, that's why I stopped watching the NBA for real. I mean, give me 2019, 2020. I know, again, I'm sorry, I'm arrogant, MVP, DPOY year, but like, come on. Like, what else am I supposed to take? And I feel like it's okay if I take that, given the fact that he is smaller, a little smaller than I'd prefer him to be. So I know, okay, perfect thing I got right here. Somewhere in between Shaquille O'Neal and Giannis Antetokounmpo. In between them, somewhere, okay? That's my meat. I'm so glad we solved this issue. But anyways, I did promise I'd finish that story about the girl with the meat. Okay, so yeah, anyways, she kept like, because she wanted me to send really bad because like she was like, oh, like what if I don't like what I see? Which again, I'm like, bro, please. Because she was very much intent on the hookup aspect of it, which, I guess like you said, like, I mean, not like you said, but like I said, like, I guess if we don't mesh on that part, like, which things that, mind you, I can look for hookups. So it's like I need more of I want them to want something more. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know how that works. But anyways, she kept like insisting that I send pictures. I was like, nah. But I made it clear. I was like, look, if it's that big of a problem for you that I'm not sending, then that's completely fine. We don't have to link up. But like, if I thought there was a chance where like you wouldn't be rocking with it, I wouldn't even put myself in the situation. You know what I mean? But it's like, I understand that's not enough. Like, it's easy for me because I've seen my meat. Like, I know what I'm working with. Obviously, there are some guys who do put themselves in a situation to be embarrassed like that. But I'm like, I wouldn't do that. But yeah, me and her went back and forth for a while. I'm like, bro, like, because she was like really trying to convince me. I'm like, okay. But again, I just insisted. I was like, look, I don't have anything to hide. I understand like why you want what you want. But I'm not willing to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I know what I'm capable of. But if you're that worried about it, you can run along, you can do your thing. And then that's when the conversation ended. So then I'm like, oh man, completely, not that I folded, I kind of just like stood on what I stand for. But what's funny enough, she hit me up literally while I was recording this video, swear to God. Oh yeah, but no, the reason I mentioned that, I mean, one of the reasons I mentioned that other story earlier is because I'm like, bro, if that young lady didn't need a picture from me to link up, then it's like, bro, then why does this one? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not folding just because you're a baddie that happens to be meted up. Like I'm very much okay with, getting with people who don't require that kind of thing. I'm looking at this. Giannis shot 34% from 3 his first year. That's his rookie year, and he's never even got close to that again. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, that's the video. My meat is bigger than I thought. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed. Oh yeah, and a little bit of state of affairs. This video is probably going to be released 3 or 4, I don't know, one of those amounts of days after my previous video. And the thing is, I kind of want to take more breaks in between videos, not only to let the video breathe itself, but then I can focus on giving you guys more like longer yaps. Like, I don't know how long this video is. Like, it's probably not like an hour, but I want to really make sure I'm giving you guys something to grab onto and not really just like throwing up a video where I'm like talking about something for 10 minutes and then, throwing it away, which I might, like if I'm really passionate about a topic, like again, someone says something stupid on Twitter, then yeah, of course I'll do that. But I feel like it would be better all around if I could take times like this to record a video where it's like, I have a lot more to say. Like I have a lot more to say about my meat. So that's why this video is the length that it is, no pun intended. But yeah, I'm going for a quantity and quality thing. Oh no, I'm trying to see how that works for me. Because obviously when I was super locked in and posting every day, that was partially to continue to grow the account, which I hope obviously it still does grow even if I don't post as frequently. But like my thing is I'm like, if I just post higher quality content, then it's also still gonna grow. You know what I mean? Like it's like I kind of want to avoid dropping those like 10 to 20 minute videos that like nobody really cares about. But again, if I have to do that and like the timing seems right, then I guess like I'll just give you more content to give you more content. But I thought I'd pause right there. If I have to sacrifice the content I give you in order to, what the fuck am I trying to say right now? If I have to sacrifice the like amount of different videos I give you so I can give you a longer one like this so I can really like lock in and like, deliver, like I feel like that could be worth it. Especially again, because it was harder when I was doing the whole daily thing, right? And then someone would recommend a topic, like again, how to move on or whatever, which I am planning on that video, by the way. It was harder to do when I was doing videos every day because I'm like, I know I have so much to say about that, but I won't have time. You know what I mean? Like, again, like I'll wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I have to get a video out in like 5 hours. So let me just like talk about something I see on Twitter for like 10 to 20 minutes. But I feel like doing this, I'm gonna be able to give you the good stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'm actually gonna give you something to grab onto. So, let me know your thoughts on that. Like if you have any opinion on it, I'll definitely take it into account regardless of what it is. But again, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, everything I have to say. I'm so sorry and I love you. Okay, have a great day, night, evening, morning.